Hello friends, welcome back to the cabin. I'm actually on my way. If you remember, I think it was about 2 years ago now that I went and picked up some bamboo from one of my friends that I used to work EMS with, and he actually texted me the other day and said that he had some windows. He was watching one of the videos and seen that I needed some and called me up and said that he had some that he was going to discard, and if I wanted them I could come get them. So I thought I might as well, you never know when you're going to need windows. So now I got some from North Carolina. My daughter found some on Facebook, and now I got a friend giving me some. So you never know when you might need a window. So I figured I'd go ahead and get a little bit of footage on the way over. So y'all stay tuned. I'll see you when we get there. This piece of property that you're looking at right here, rumor has it that these folks actually won the McDonald's Monopoly game several years back and purchased this piece of property, which is really nice. Back in the day of the frontiers people, they would actually take rocks like this, clear them from the fields, and bring them to the edge and stack them up, thereby creating a landscape fence which bordered their property from their neighbor's property. There's no telling how long these have been here, but they've been there for ages. All these rocks were mined out of the fields and stacked up alongside the road. Well, friends, I guess you remember my friend Brian here. This is where we came up and picked up the bamboo and the ramps. And what ramps that I've got, I've had 2 years now, is what we were saying, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing really good, but I'm afraid to kind of go up in there and bust up the cluster because, they've only been there 2 years, but he's got a whole bunch of them growing up the holler here. So I was telling him next spring I'd like to come back and get, maybe a half a dozen more and get them planted, because if I could actually do that, and we were talking about, they used to have a ramp festival here where they actually crowned a queen for the ramp festival. They used to have country music. They would have, cooking chicken and the ramps and beans and cornbread and stuff like that. And we just had a really good time on a Saturday and a Sunday. They'd make a whole weekend out of it. And it was really fun. And that's what we used to do when we were kids. We've got the windows loaded in the back of the truck, so I'll show you those when I actually get back home. But I was just getting ready. Like I said, Brian and I were sitting here revisiting some days that we worked together in EMS and some of the calls that we had made, and things just, they aren't the same anymore like they used to be, are they? Another thing we were talking about is he's got another skid steer. So we were talking about maybe the possibility of him coming over there and helping me reclaim that bottom down there and getting it sloped where it's nice and level and doesn't have, you know, the wet spot in the middle, and getting rid of a lot of that brush and stuff where I can actually get it disked up, replant some grass down there, and hopefully someday get that fenced off and maybe put a couple of animals in down there. But anyway, I'm going to get going. I appreciate those windows. Going to head back, get them unloaded, and see what else I can get into.
Sounds like a plan.
All right,
stay warm.
I tell you what, friends, I really like Brian. He is a really great friend, and he's a really great guy besides that. You know, seeing all those rock walls, you would think that that would be something that would be commonplace, I guess, to this whole area. But like the property that we actually bought years and years ago, there was 200 acres where I live, and now there's only 30 left. But there's not a single rock on any of that property. There never was that I know of. And then over here you see all of these rock walls that were built by the early settlers, and just makes you kind of wish, I wished I had that many rocks, because you know, you can do a lot of things with rocks as far as landscaping and things like that goes. So yeah, it would be nice if I had some. Even down in the creek, there's not any rocks in the creek. It's just all like layers and layers of shale. But yeah, different parts of the country, you know, have different things that are peculiar to their area. Anyway, we're heading back, like I said, so I'll see you there. Well, we got 4 windows total. We've got a very small one right here. We've got this one that's larger in thickness, and I think it's kind of like a picture window. Then I've got 2 smaller ones underneath, like this, that are close to probably 4 by 3. One of them is just a slight bit smaller than the other one. But yeah, we've got 4 more windows, and I was saying that this really small one right here, when I go to build the root cellar back there, that I may install it, although I don't want any light in there, but I can make something on the back side to where I can close it off like with a piece of blackboard or something like that. But in the event that I had to go in there during, say, a bad storm or something, I could actually take that off and be able to have some air come in. But anyway, yeah, glad I got those. Now is finding a place to store them. I made a space right there at the end of the sawmill. I don't think that any high winds will bother them, because they're actually leaned against the wall and then put in behind the bed frame and everything else. So I think they'll be okay. You see all those jugs that I've been saving. You know, living off grid like this, you never really know when you might need something. So a jug can always come in handy for something. But I've got things like used hoses, used motor oil, you name it. I've been saving it because, like I said, at some point you will probably find a use for something that you have saved. The problem is the storage area around here. So I'm going to be glad when we actually get that workshop done and get that upstairs, because that will give me 12 by 18 area that I can actually store a lot of things. As well as getting the inside of the wall finished where I park the tractor, so that I can start hanging some stuff in there, and possibly some shelves built on the side, because I've actually got a fairly good size area in there for the tractor. So this area right here, I could possibly have like maybe a small workbench going possibly, you know, 2/3 of the way down. I can have places, like I said, to hang tools and stuff up there. So it's really going to be nice when all of this gets done and I'm able to start putting things, you know, in their permanent place, I guess you would say that. A lot of this stuff up there behind the sawmill is going to have to move, because when this is done, that will be torn down to build a gazebo that we've decided to put there, and a really nice fire pit, and probably a patio around it, just a place to, you know, come out and sit, because if that structure wasn't there, you'd be able to sit up there on the porch at the cabin and look all the way over the roof of this building right here, which is going to look a whole lot better than the sawmill. You got to remember, it was only intended to be temporary, to house the sawmill till the cabin was done, and then came YouTube. So that's kind of how that evolved in a short. Yeah, so that stuff, you know, like I said, once a lot of these buildings get completed, then I can start placing things that'll be permanent, and that's where they will actually live. Got the root cellar that we're still going to have to do. We got the base camp that we're still going to do. I've been thinking about up there in the woods, kind of around the chicken house, back up in there somewhere, possibly building just a place to have a fire. I've got some nice concrete benches that my niece gave me. I'm still saving those to put somewhere, so who knows, they may end up going around the gazebo. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, still got a lot of things to do, a lot of plans for the future. You can tell that we've been doing a lot of cleanup, because right here is where I'm standing was the tops of a lot of the trees that fell a year ago. Remember, that fell across the driveway during a big windstorm that came through, and they all laid here, destroyed the fence that went to the raised bed garden. So it's taken me a year, but we finally got it cleaned out back to this old hay bale, which, where the camera's sitting, you're probably about 30 feet from the driveway coming up the hill. So yeah, what I intend to do is clear it probably from where I'm standing back about 20 more feet, get rid of all of this underbrush. I'm going to move the raised beds down here, because we plan on putting our solar array system either right in front of where I park those trailers, actually, or right in front of the raised bed gardens, or in that location. So it would be a whole lot easier for me to move that down here. Since the ground is a little bit steeper, I don't plan on doing any excavation or anything. So I can move all that downhill, and then have up there where it's a little bit flatter, a place to put the array, because I can face it south and get sunshine all day long, winter or summer. Yeah, been doing a lot of work down here to try to get this cleaned up, where we can get back there to those 3 big huge trees you see standing behind me, because we are going to follow them downhill, and then I'll be able to go down the driveway, hook a long cable to them, pull them downhill, and cut the logs off actually, and stack them up down there, and that'll be really handy. That way I can just run down, pick up a log, bring it up, throw it on the sawmill. I don't have a lot of stuff piled in my way up here. But things are slowly getting put in their permanent place. The infrastructure that we're working on here, all the buildings, you know, are kind of the types of buildings that we need for a homestead we have to build. So we're kind of excited about that. Do have to find a place to put, we're going to get a small forge, probably work that in somewhere around the sawmill back there. But yeah, I'm excited, because things are getting close to, not really the plans that I had started when we started here, but the plans as things evolved into what my vision of having a homestead would be for me. So I'm excited about the new year and the plans that we have got to try to, you know, we always set big and lofty goals. Even if we fall short of them, we're a whole lot farther ahead than if we didn't have any goals at all. Anyway, friends, thanks so much for stopping by. We want to wish each and every one of you a happy new year, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.